What's up, guys? I'm about to share with you the fastest way to 10K in real estate investing. Frankly, anybody can do this. I was 21 when I started and my whole world changed. My first check was $3,000. The first thing that had to change for me was my mindset. My mindset changed, and lo and behold, as I'm sitting there literally in a 4-day seminar, I got my first deal negotiated in the 4th day of that seminar. As that happened, I went home, I got a $3,000 check, and I said, oh my gosh, I got $3,000. It was not attached to my time. It was not attached to how many hours I worked. It was attached to a deal that I negotiated and went and found somebody who was willing to pay more for it. And so my mindset began to shift from what can I do to what can I create. And that's a writer downer. When you get paid for what you know, when you get paid for what you negotiate, rather than how many hours you work, your whole world begins to change. Now, while I talk about building passive income and many other revenue streams, I want to specifically dial in today on getting your first $10,000 paycheck, your fastest $10,000 paycheck using real estate. When I started at 21, it was simply finding people that had houses for sale that were way below value and asking them these two magic questions. Number one, if I pay you cash and close whenever you want, what's the least you can take on purchase price? And after they would give me a number, I would follow it up immediately with, is that the best you can do? Now, those two sentences have made me millions of dollars by now because I ask those questions and I wait for the response. In doing that, I didn't have the cash to pay for it at the time. I didn't know what I was going to do, except I had learned the strategy of wholesaling, of flipping the paper. And what that means is I would find a deal. Let's say somebody has a house that's worth $200,000 and for whatever reason they're asking $150,000. Maybe it needs work. Say, if I pay you all cash and close whenever you want, what's the least you can take? This can be done virtually, by the way. Anywhere you got an internet connection and a phone connection, you can find houses and do this. Now, the deals get better when they call you. You can put out ads, I buy houses cash, do anything you can to get people calling you with houses for sale. But once you get somebody on the phone, you ask the magic question. Let's say they're asking $150,000, and after you ask, what's the least you'll take? I've heard them drop 10, I've heard them drop 20, I've heard them drop $30,000 or $40,000 in that first question. The second one is equally as important. Is that the best you can do? I've heard the first one maybe go from $150,000 to $130,000. When I follow up with this, that's the best you can do, and I wait, and the phone goes awkwardly silent. And used to, I would immediately want to say something, and then I realized this: silence is golden. Silence is golden when you're negotiating. And phone goes silent, and this, I wouldn't take a dime less than 100. Flapping your lips for 60 seconds just made you $50,000. You're welcome. And so I asked the magic questions. Now I can send them a standard purchase and sale agreement, very commonly used. You can find one on the internet. Of course, if you're in my world, you get my copy of it. Purchase and sale agreement gives you the ability to purchase the property, gives you the ability to market because you have equitable interest in the property. I'm not an attorney and don't claim to be, and I know there's 3 states recently that outlawed wholesaling on this way that I'm describing it. So obviously you want to check the rules with your local attorney. And even if I was an attorney, I couldn't be in all 50 states. So check the local laws. I will tell you though, this works in many states, and this is how I got started. So send them a purchase and sale agreement to purchase the house for $100,000. Remember, we discussed at the first of this video that it is worth $200,000. Now let's say it needs, I don't know, $20,000 in repairs to be up to tippy-top shape. I'm gonna immediately put it out online, and I'm going to say, hey, I have a house worth $200,000. I have a contract on it, and I'll let you buy it for $130,000. Somebody comes along and likes it. Maybe they fix and flip houses, and maybe that's a landlord. My preference is landlords because when you're working with a landlord, they typically pay more for houses because they're looking for cash flow over time rather than the one-hit wonder. So you get somebody who's willing to pay you and they look at it, they look at the pictures of it. Sometimes I sell them without the buyer even ever seeing the house. Sometimes they want to see them before they buy them. And now I didn't have to see the house myself. All I did was have to email an agreement and talk to the seller. Now I have a contract to purchase it, and I have a cash offer from someone who's willing to pay more. Let's say they come back and they say, I'll give you $125,000 cash. Congratulations, you just made $25,000. Maybe they offer more. Maybe you ask more, depending on the market, depending on the house, and all of the variables that go into it. Ask as much as you can, and you'll be surprised what happens. Now, you go, you send the purchase agreement, you send the agreement with your buyer who's paying the cash to the closing title company, and you get a check for the difference the day it closes. You had no risk up other than the earnest money. Normally, I give $10 earnest money because we do a title search to make sure there's nothing on the title. And sometimes if there is, obviously we don't want to be chasing down some big earnest money deposit. Just as legal to give $10 earnest money as it is to give $100 or give $1,000. And so I get the deal, send it to the title company. A few days later it closes and I get a check or a wire for the difference. Everything begins to change when our mindset begins to change. We no longer ask, can I? We ask, how do I? How do I get what I want? How do I get more of what I want? How do I get the time freedom for my family? The money in the bank account, the car, the house, whatever it is that you are excited about getting, that you know you want, you know you deserve, the life you want to provide for your family and those around you that you love. Make sure it all starts right here. Realize that you can do it. You were put here for a specific purpose. Realize that you can do it. All it takes is some minor changes and the right knowledge. How are the people out there making so much money? What are they doing differently than I'm doing? And how do I duplicate it? Ask yourself that question, because I guarantee you in this market, there's people who are getting rich and there's people who are doing it right, because they know exactly what to do to seize the moment, to seize the opportunity, and to make a lot of money while some others are afraid or are losing money. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll see you on the next video.